The weather is changing, and I, for one, absolutely love the cooler temperatures. It puts me in a mood to get out my crock pot and make some delicious and hearty one-pot meals. I'm so excited about today's video because I discovered a recipe that is absolutely and positively delicious, and I'm going to be making it frequently for years to come. I hope that you love it as much as I do. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Michelle. I'm a frugal foodie on a budget. I have a new culinary adventure every week where I try new recipes by combining food ingredients that are on sale. I try to spend as little money as possible for the entire week. I do this by shopping multiple stores and purchasing produce that is on sale. And this week, I'm walking you through the process that I go through every week. It all starts here with Wholesome Choice Food ad. Most of my food ingredients are stable prices because I do most of my shopping at Walmart and Aldi. The big factor here is the produce at Wholesome Choice. So I plan my meals around this. This week they have oranges on a really great deal, which I'm super excited about. I'm going to pick up some of those. They've got 4 pounds for $1. And besides eating oranges as snacks, I picked up some chicken drumsticks at Aldi. And I'm thinking maybe I could do something like an orange honey glaze. I'd also like to make some crispy chicken with an Asian zing sauce. I think that'd be really good. And then they have the bell peppers. I'm thinking I could do maybe something like a stuffed bell pepper, or maybe just use it in a stir fry. I've got a few other dishes that I like bell peppers in, so I'm definitely going to pick some of those up. The green limes, this seems like an amazing deal for 12 for $1. I'm actually not sure how I'd use those unless I did like a vinaigrette or I mean, they're great with Mexican food, but I'm just not sure if that's worth spending my money on. The eggs, we just passed by those eggs, but those eggs were about the same price as I normally get at Aldi, which is not bad. The 5 for $1 lemons is a great price on it. One of the things I love about Wholesome Choice is I can just get one, and they'll just charge me 20 cents. So I'm definitely going to pick up at least one lemon. And then they've got a great deal also on kale and cilantro, and so I'm going to pick up some of those. I'm probably going to pick up at least one of the green onions, for sure. And I always pick up their herbs because it's such a great price. A lot of these stores have 3-day sales where they have special sales during a specific period of time, but then I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to go back down to the store. But if it's a really good deal, then I'll definitely go back for it. But it's just kind of annoying that you have to do that. Okay, garbanzo beans are on sale for 69 cents, which seems like a really good deal. And if you don't know this already, garbanzo beans are the same as chickpeas. It's just the Spanish name for chickpeas. I don't usually do a lot with them. I like to have them on my salads and stuff, but it would be fun to do something with these. And there is a recipe that I've been wanting to try. It's a chickpea stew that was super popular on the internet. Haven't tried it yet, so this would be a good week to try that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and circle that and maybe pick up a pound. They do have a really good deal on tofu this week at 99 cents a block, which is an exceptional deal. So I'm probably going to pick up one of those for myself. I am going to be making a lot of chicken this week for you guys, which I will not be eating. So I'll probably just pick this up, and it's going to add some extra protein for the week as well. And I think that's about it. I'm going to be driving right by Dollar Tree, so I'm going to pop my head in there and grab one of their eggs for the week. It's going to be a little bit less expensive, but I think that's pretty much it for the sales. So here is our weekly grocery haul, and it all started with this amazing deal that I got on chicken drumsticks at Aldi. So I'm going to be making quite a few items with those. I did go ahead and get some cereal this week with some almond milk, which I'm really excited about. I got these rice sticks, which I'm going to be making some delicious Singapore noodles with. I have these chickpeas, which I'm going to be trying that new recipe. Okay, I'm going to be using some of this style of vermicelli. I already had some in the cabinet that I need to use up, and I have about a half a pack. However, I'm going to count in the budget for a full container. And then I got my items that were on sale. I got the kale, the cilantro, sweet potatoes, lemons, garlic, bananas. I picked up some Chobani plain yogurt, which I need in my recipe. And I got the eggs, the oranges, 1 pound of rice just in case I need it. I got 2 cans of coconut milk, and I'm always happy to be cooking with coconut milk. And then I put the tofu out there that I already had in my fridge, but I actually went back and got the 99-cent tofu, but I wanted to have that for the picture. And the only thing that's not showing here is broccoli. I had to go back and get broccoli. All of those items, everything that I ate this week is added in the budget. Now, I will say, if you're new to my channel, I do use dry spices, oil, vinegar, sugar, those kinds of items that I already have on hand. And now it's time to get to one of the most exciting recipes of this week's video, and that's the chickpea stew. I saw this recipe a while back on the New York Times, and it is apparently a phenomenon called #the_stew. And so I've been, like I said, I've been wanting to try this, and when I saw chickpeas on sale, I thought now is the time to do this. I picked up all of the ingredients here. I got 2 cans of coconut milk. It does call for an onion. I put the onion powder out there. If you don't have onion, you can use that instead. I have cilantro. I have fresh mint. I have ginger. Don't pay any attention to the curry powder there. I don't know why I put it out. It actually doesn't call for curry powder. We're going to be getting the flavor from the ginger, the garlic, and the turmeric. I picked up such a small piece of ginger that it only ended up costing me about 20 cents. I have to say, I've never actually cooked chickpeas like I do, pinto beans, the black beans, and all of those. I usually just buy them canned, so this is kind of a new experience for me, and I'm just going to soak them overnight and then throw them in my crock pot just like I do the other beans. As you can see, they swelled up quite a bit, and I know the regular recipe called for canned chickpeas, so if you would rather do that, that's fine, but I got these for 65 cents a pound, so you can't beat that, and I'm just going to cook all of what I have. I'm working from home today, so this is perfect because I'm just putting this in my crock pot before I start work, and I'll be able to check on it throughout the day, and then my plan is to make my meal tonight when I get off work. As always, I'll put the ingredients list along with the price list and the recipes in the description of the video. The recipe calls for 1 chopped onion. I only have this amount left in my refrigerator, so I'm just going to use that and add a little bit of onion powder. I will add the full cost of the onion, and then I'm going to go ahead and peel this and chop up the ginger. I'm going to add the chickpeas to the pan and work on getting them crisp. So I want them to cook in the oil for a little while just to get them nice and crispy on the outer shell. This added step is what's going to give our recipe a nice textural balance. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and remove about half of the chickpeas. I'll just remove those in a container, and those will be plated in each bowl. So we're going to mash these remaining chickpeas up, and we want this to be more of a creamy mixture, so we're going to add the coconut milk in. And definitely make sure that you get full fat coconut milk, and I will say do yourself a favor and just make this recipe the way they call for it to be made at least the first time, and then you can certainly make it less fattening the next time. But it does call for 2 cups of vegetable stock. You can use chicken stock as well if you want, and then go ahead and add in the second can of coconut milk. Now, this recipe, it knocked my socks off. Honestly, it was so delicious and such an amazing combination of flavors. But next time I will probably try to maybe lighten it up a little bit. I'll still have to do at least 1 can of the full fat coconut milk, but like I said, this is a dynamite recipe, so you owe it to yourself to at least make it the way they say the first time. Go ahead and keep boiling this until it becomes to the thickness or the consistency that you want. I ended up boiling it, I think, about 25 minutes. And then it was perfect. And then I added in the kale right at the end. So the magic of this dish comes in the plating with all of these different textures. So we're going to start with the crispy chickpeas, and we'll just put a little mound in the center. And then we're going to put the fresh mint on the sides of the bowl. Now this is a really spicy dish with all of that turmeric and the chili flakes. So adding the yogurt is a super delicious add-on where it just really mellows out the flavor when you get a nice bite and it's got all of that heat in there, and then you get a little bit of the yogurt. It's just absolutely perfect. Let me know what you think, guys, and if you think you might want to try this recipe for yourself. If you're new to my channel and you like my content so far, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe. So I was super excited. I picked up this almond crunchy honey oats for $1.33 at Walmart, and it does have 13 servings in it. So I'm going to be eating this for most of my breakfasts and for maybe for some snacks as well, like a 4th meal during the day. And for at least 4 servings, I'm going to have a half of a banana with each bowl. I really enjoyed having these oranges this week. I couldn't believe I got 8 for $1. I took them to work a few days and had them for snacks in the afternoon. Sometimes when you get fruit on sale, you're not sure whether it's going to be any good, but these were really sweet and delicious. Okay, so I've been waiting to do this unboxing to share with you guys. I have been needing a new recipe book. During my last move, I ended up losing my dear recipe book, and so I haven't really wanted to start over, honestly, until now that I've got my channel and I'm making all of these new recipes. I'm just thinking now is definitely the time. So I did find this on Amazon. I was going to make my own. I figured that it would be easy enough, but then I thought it's going to take a lot more time and probably end up costing just about the same amount of money anyway. So I just went ahead and ordered this little kit on Amazon. I thought it was cute, and I think it'll probably do for now. It comes with the index cards and the little plastic covers for the cards, and it comes with 2 sets of the index cards, and they are front and back. So on the front you can write the ingredients, and on the back you can write the instructions. And it comes with these sheets as well. Not sure about that. And it comes with these index cards. The only thing I'm not sure about on this is that These sheets are not letter size, so I'm going to have to mess around with my printer and figure out how to minimize those. So I don't know if that's going to be a hassle or not, but all in all, I actually do like the reduced size of the folder. It's not quite as bulky as my last one, so we'll see how this goes. I did link it below if anyone's interested. Now I'm going to make for you a recipe that has been a favorite of my family's for a very long time. I've always called it Chinese vermicelli salad because it's a cold dish, but these are definitely very American vermicelli noodles. The interesting thing about vermicelli is that they are just very small spaghetti noodles. In Italy, the vermicelli is actually larger than spaghetti, but in the United States, the vermicelli is smaller than spaghetti. If you can't find vermicelli, you can just use small spaghetti, but the important thing is you want to cook it al dente. My son came home from Aldi today with a box of spaghetti, and I was actually noticing that it was just about the exact same size as the vermicelli. And I had the vermicelli left over. It's been in my pantry for I don't know how long now, so I thought I would go ahead and use that up. And like I said, my sons absolutely love this dish, and it just worked with our ingredients this week. And I'm actually excited to make it for you because it is one of my favorite recipes, and I'm hoping that you're going to like it as much as I do. So these are some of the Chinese vermicelli noodles can look like this and be made out of the rice. That is not the kind that you want for this dish. It's not going to turn out right. Make sure you get the American kind. And it was interesting that the amount of servings on here were 12 servings and 7 grams of protein. That's because it's egg noodles that is being used. So, you know, it actually does end up having quite a bit of protein in it. I'm going to save a few of the bell peppers for the Singapore noodles that I'll be making later. This recipe is absolutely one of my family's favorites. In fact, when I was making it, my boys swooped in on this as soon as I made it and started scarfing down on it. You can actually put anything that you want in this. You could put cubes of extra firm tofu. You could add chicken. I love peanuts with the sesame. I've taken this recipe to potlucks, family gatherings, all kinds of events, and everybody always absolutely loves it. It's always eaten right away. Make sure you put it in the fridge, though. It's actually better the next day. Okay, next up I'm making kale and eggs, and I just have to say I lovingly cared for these 2 kale leaves all week long, put them in a little bit of water, and they're exceptionally crisp right now. Super proud of myself because sometimes you're trying to make your food stretch, and kale always does have a habit of getting very stale very quickly, which is super annoying. But anyhow, I'm just going to cut up some kale and garlic, and I'm going to put the sweet potatoes. I boiled those just so that they could get a little bit done because they do have a higher sugar content in them. It's definitely easy to burn them without getting them through all the way to the middle. And then I'm just going to throw some molten sea salt flakes in there just because I have it in the cupboard. Those are my son's. Otherwise, just hit it with regular salt. You're not going to taste any difference with that. And then for the eggs, I'm going to try a little bit of a different technique this time. I was talking to one of my viewers, and she was telling me how she makes her eggs. She just puts them in the frying pan, and then she steams them the rest of the way, done with putting the lid on top. So I thought that I would go ahead and try that this time with mine. Sounds like a great idea. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water in there to speed up the process. I'm actually not sure if she said she did that with hers or not, but I'm in a hurry, so I'm just going to put that in there and speed it along. And it was interesting because you could see it went so fast that you could watch the whites of the yolks turning. So I thought that was kind of cool, and they actually are perfect now, so I'm going to pull them out. This was such a simple but delicious meal. I just love cooking with aromatics. The garlic made my house smell so good. In fact, my son popped in and asked if he could join me for breakfast, and of course I said yes, and wait for it.
That was good.
And that is music to my ears. And now it's time to get spicy with Singapore noodles. I have this recipe that I've been making lately, and it's made with the rice sticks. I use the bean sprouts for a little bit of crunch, but I make it with these rice sticks, which are very inexpensive, and then just the typical ingredients that you see me pretty much using in all of my meals: soy sauce, sesame oil. I'm going to add a little curry powder this time, and then my vegetables, and I'm also going to be using tofu. If you want to use chicken, you can. I did purchase the drumsticks, so any of these meals, if you want to make the drumsticks and use them along the side, we actually had enough drumsticks to have about 3, I think it turned out to be, every night. But of course, I'm not a huge meat eater, so I'm just going to be making the tofu to go along with it. But I'm just going to be cutting these up into bite-sized pieces, and then I'm going to make the sauces with the soy sauce, sesame, and curry powder. Here's one thing I want to say about the curry powder. I've actually tried this recipe with a couple of different curry powders. You can use sugar. You can use white sugar if you want, but I'm going to use brown sugar and some water. But about the curry powder, there are different levels of heat in curry powder. I would just suggest starting with less than you think you want and then adding to it. I actually added about 1/4 of the curry powder in this recipe that I would probably like, just because my son likes it a little bit milder. But you can always, get one bowl out and then add more of the sauce in to the individual. If you have a family, maybe you've got, kids that can't handle the heat, and you know how it is when you've got a lot of people. In fact, I was talking to one of my viewers about this, I think it was last night, about how difficult it is to eat on these challenges when you have multiple members of your family, because everybody likes different kinds of food, so it can be really challenging to try to get something that everybody likes. That's why when you do get a recipe that everybody likes, it's like, I don't know, it's just a huge score, because it makes life a lot easier. Anyhow, so I'm just flash frying these. I want them to be crisp tender. In fact, honestly, I could probably just not even cook them at all and be happy with it, because I do like them to be crunchy. The noodles are kind of soggy in this, so it's definitely nice to have that contrasting texture. And I talk about that a lot in my food. I just think it makes for a better eating experience when you have, you know, the contrasting textures. So the only thing challenging about this recipe is you do have to keep stirring up the noodles to get the seasoning distributed all throughout. And I absolutely love this recipe. I do want to try some different kinds of noodles. And if any of you have any good ideas out there, I'm kind of new to the Singapore noodles. So I would love it if you would give me some tips on what kind of noodles you like. I'm thinking if I had one that was, you know, like a little bit more of, I don't know, like a stronger consistency, I think I would like that a lot better. But it is an absolutely delicious recipe, just the way it is. But anyway, if anybody knows anything, just definitely chime in and give me some advice. I love hearing everything that you guys have to say. I pick up a lot of tips that way. This right here, they don't add the bean sprouts in all of the recipes I've seen, but I think it's absolutely imperative because I love the crunch that it gives to the dish. And one of the mistakes I made though is I put aside some for my lunches. I like kind of pre-made my lunches and dinners for a few days after this, and I had those in there, and if I would have added them after the fact, they would have still been crunchy because a few days later, well, probably not a few days, but a couple days later, they were already kind of wilting. So, and didn't have quite the crunch that I wanted. But I did love this dish. I hope you guys like it. Let me know what you think. And on to the next. Okay, last up, I'm going to be making the chicken drumsticks. And for this, I'm going to be making a mixture of baking powder, salt, and cornstarch. And I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of each for every pound of chicken. And I'm actually going to do, I'm going to start with, I think, 4, and we'll see if that works. If not, I'll add a little bit more in. But I'm just going to mix it together and dredge the chicken and then bake it for about 25 minutes on 450 degrees, and this should make the chicken fairly crispy. And then I'm going to make some sauces. So here's the chicken. It did end up turning out quite crispy, so I was very happy with that. And then I wanted to go ahead and glaze these in the pan, so to try to keep as much of that crisp on as possible. Let's get started with the hot wing glaze. I'm using chili garlic sauce. You can use a sriracha or whatever hot sauce you have on hand. I'm using soy sauce, vinegar, and I'm using rice vinegar, but any kind of vinegar will work. Half teaspoon ginger powder and a teaspoon of mirin, which I'm using because I do have it. If you don't have it, not a big deal. They'll still be great. If you don't have any bottled hot sauce, just use some red pepper flakes and add that to the mix. But I'm going to start with my sesame oil in the pan and add some garlic, and then I'm going to add the hot sauce. And this is probably the only time you'll see me actually frying anything with the sesame oil. And then I'm just going to glaze the chicken in the pan, and then I plated them and garnished them with some green onions. For my sweet garlic glaze, I'll be using garlic, vinegar, brown sugar, soy sauce, and just a small squeeze of orange along with the sesame oil again. And I'm doing just a small squeeze of the orange juice so I get just a hint of the orange juice in there. And I'm going to start by frying the sesame oil again with the garlic and add the remainder of the ingredients. And then once the sauce is fairly thick, I add in the chicken so that it glazes it right away. And then I just want to make sure that the entire piece of chicken is glazed. These were so delicious. The sweet flavor of the garlic with the sesame oil was perfect, and they had just a hint of orange flavor. I garnished them with white sesame seeds and a slice of orange. My sons tried both types of drumsticks and agreed that these were the winner of the evening, so I will definitely be making these again. So guys, we spent $30 this week and we got some awesome, delicious meals. I hope you do try the chickpea stew. It's amazing. There were some dishes that I wasn't able to film. I made myself a stir fry. I made myself some scrambled eggs. I didn't, necessarily film that, but I also had a lot of meals that I had left over. So I had a lot of Singapore noodles and the vermicelli noodles, which my sons ended up eating quite a bit of that. As always, I put my recipe and my ingredients list as well as the price list in the description of the video. Thanks so much for watching my video. If you liked it, please do give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next week.